Awesome. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Okay, I'm here with Tricia Baldwin. Did I say your last name right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. I'm here with Tricia Baldwin, and I'm so excited to ask her all these yummy questions about the nail industry and nail business and awesome stuff. So, I wanted to kind of start with my intention for this, and that's to help nail technicians realize that they can make more money than they think. I think a lot of times we just are like, nails is like this jobby, like this hobby job, and I can't really make something big out of it. But Tricia is someone who I admire so much in the beauty industry, and she's just killing it. And I wanted to ask her these questions because I feel like when you surround yourself with people that are doing awesome things, and when you learn from them, you have a stronger belief in yourself and your own ability to do the same and to even go just beyond your wildest dreams with your career. So, Tricia, 20 questions. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to
Okay, I'm
grill you.
ready. Okay.
So, no, I'm just kidding. So first, a few basic things about you. I wanted to know, like, introduce yourself, like who you are, where you live, your family, and stuff like that.
So, obviously, Tricia Baldwin. I have been in the beauty industry for 18 years. I've been married for 15, and I have 3 boys. I live down in South Jordan, Utah, but the salon that I own is in Riverton, Utah. So it's a nice 7-minute commute. I love it. I love being close to my family, close to all my friends. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. So close and so easy. I'm all about making life easier because life is hard enough.
Right?
um, One of my questions that I have to ask you is like, where did the pink start for you? Like, is that like a childhood love, or is that just like a personality thing, like that you realize about yourself?
No, I've always loved pink. So growing up, when I was 5, my parents let me choose my own carpet for my bedroom, and it was pink. So all my entire life, I've loved the color pink. Everything I buy is pink. Just I don't know what my obsession is. It's just been since I was like little. And then as I was building the salon, and I was coming up with all these different names, just nothing hit me, nothing stuck. I didn't like any, like I just felt weird about all the names. And finally it's like, pink, like that's who I am, I never will dislike the color pink. And it just is so different than any other salon around. So I just thought, you just know when you say I'm going to pink, people will know what that is.
I love
So I've
it.
always loved it.
It's so cute. And if this is an audio version and you can't see Tricia, her hair is amazing. Her hair is a pink, like ombre down to a blue, purple unicorn thing going on, and I love it.
Thank
I think
you.
you've had pink hair since I've met you. Like, you've always done the pink hair.
I've had pink hair, some version of pink hair, for probably 7 years now. So it's
Awesome.
just a part of me.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about how we met, because I met you because you were one of the educators at a Young Nails class in American Fork. We're both in Utah. I don't know if we said that, but yeah, American Fork. When did you start as an educator? Like, what got you into being an educator?
So I met Young Nails at a trade show. So I used to use another brand, and when I was at the trade show, I went up to their booth, and I just felt like I wasn't getting any help, and I was trying to ask questions, and they kind of talked to me like I was dumb, which I hate that when people talk to you that way. And I was trying to get into doing glitter toes. So back in the day, there wasn't gel polish. It was like gel with glitter. And so then I happened upon the Young Nails booth, and they were so friendly and so helpful. And they were like, oh, we have Amanda and Sonia. They're here. They can help you. And they came up to me and they got me all the products I needed. And they said, come to our shop and we will show you how to use everything for free. So I drove down to Spanish Fork, did that. And I just thought, this is customer service. Like, if you want somebody to use your product correctly and love your product, then you need to teach them and educate. So I started taking multiple classes through Amanda, and I thought, this looks like a really fun job, and it's just something extra for me to do on top of doing nails. And so I called corporate, I figured it all out, and then I've been an educator for about 10 years now.
That's so awesome. Tell me about that, because you have done everything from having apprentices in your shop to like teaching at Premier Orlando, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it was after I started trying to become a young nails educator. I was also studying to take my test to become a Utah State educator. So I have a license. So I have my cosmetology license, and then I have a Utah State educator's license, and I'm a senior mentor for young nails. So I have girls come in the salon, and I teach them from scratch how to do nails. And I think as a business owner, this has really helped explode my business, because I don't have to just hire anybody off the streets. I do, but I can train my own people to do nails the way that I want them to do them and how I feel will make them successful in their own business. And so I enjoy teaching people, like whether it's a nail tech that's wanting to up their skills or better themselves, or somebody who doesn't know anything about nails and teaching them everything they need to know.
That's awesome. How many staff do you have in your shop? How many like do nails? Do you even know the numbers? Because you just expanded and it's like huge.
Yeah, so I expanded. So right now we have 36 of us that work at Pinks. I would say a little over half is nail tech. We have a couple of us that do hair and nails. So, but nail tech wise, we have a little over half is nail tech.
Awesome. Okay, so as you've been like teaching them to do nails and then bringing them on to your team, what has been some of the bigger struggles that you like have seen them, like if you were to teach them, okay, I know you're stuck with building your clientele, here's some of my solutions like that I found, like to help them kind of through that?
So, okay, I see a lot on Facebook. People post and they say it's old school to sit at a salon and wait for walk-ins. That's an old school way to build your business. It's all about Instagram. It's all about Facebook, which I agree that Instagram and Facebook is huge at building a clientele, but
we both did it before that, girl.
Yeah, so I built my clientele before Facebook and Instagram even existed. And I still feel that the best way to build a clientele is to sit at the salon, you wait for walk-ins, you're the one answering the phone. And on top of that, it's about making friends with all the girls you work with. Because if I'm sitting at a salon and I'm talking to all the hairdressers, well, the hairdresser's clients are they're gonna learn who I am, and they're gonna come to me to get their nails done. And it's about being present and making yourself known. So when girls come in here and they want to build a clientele, I always tell them your best bet is to sit at your nail table while you're practicing learning new things and have the phone by you and constantly answer your phone. And as you're working, then on top of that, post on Instagram, post on Facebook, run little specials for your family to get people in. So I'm super old school when it comes to building a clientele, because you just need to make yourself known so that people want to come to you.
Yeah, I love that. It's all about connections, and like, I think it starts with a self-confidence thing for people, because they're like newbies in the industry, don't you think? And then they're like, but like, I'm kind of nervous to talk to this amazing staff at the salon, right? So yeah, and then it starts from there, like making connections and talking to people. It's hard to teach that, the grit of sitting there. Do you find that it's hard?
I think it's really hard to teach people to sit here, because they're looking at, well, if I sit there, I'm not making any money during that time. Mm-hmm. But even if you get one walk-in and you're charging $40 for that walk-in, let's just put a number out there of $40. If you sat for 2 hours waiting for that, you made $20 an hour, which is more than what a lot of people are making these days. They're going and getting a job for $12 to $14 an hour, and you got to practice your skills for an hour, and then you worked for an hour, and you made more than some of your friends. So to me, it's all about sitting and just waiting for the opportunity. Yeah. And a lot of people that are walk-ins, they don't want to make an appointment. They're a walk-in for a reason. And so you can say, oh, I'll be back. Tell somebody I'm 15 minutes away. But people don't want to wait. Like, they're instant gratification nowadays. So when they walk in, they want you to automatically do their appointment.
Yeah, they want it right then. And okay, so tell me if you agree with me here, because when I tell my girls at my salon to like for like appointments and like getting back to people within 24 hours, like being on the spot, I feel like you're closing a sale. Like, that's my belief about it. And I know people like don't want to be considered salesmen, or closing a sale is a very like businessy word that maybe as nail techs we don't resonate with, but like it's like when someone calls or walks in, like you gotta actually use some, I don't know, like business savvy to close that sale, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I always tell the girls, every time the phone rings, that's $50.
Exactly.
And so I'm constantly trying to teach that. Like, every time my phone goes off, it's $50. And so you want to make sure that you answer people back, and you want to give yourself a reputation because, like I said, instant gratification. People are messaging our salon at midnight on Sunday night, hoping that we're going to answer them and make them an appointment. And yeah, we might not get back to them till 8 o'clock in the morning, but we make sure that we answer those messages because we want that revenue and we want to show like a good reputation. So that's why I always am telling the girls, like, you have to answer people back. You have to.
Yeah. And I think as like, I guess this generation grows up, they all just want to text and not like call and not like follow up. Do you find that that's true? Like,
Oh, we still get phone calls, but yeah, we get a lot of Instagram messages or Facebook messages. People just want to instantly, while they're thinking about it, shoot a text, shoot a message, and not have to actually pick up the phone and call, which, you know, that's what
fine.
happens is like, I think that what happens is when people want to text for an appointment, then you don't have to get back to them. Where if somebody calls, you have to answer the phone and answer them right then. And that's what, like, people just kind of think, well, they texted me, I'll just get back to them tomorrow. And then tomorrow you forget. And it's like, okay, well, you just threw $50 away.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, I haven't been looking at my questions, so let me see if I have some other things on that note. Okay, so I want to talk about pricing because I feel like that's a big struggle. So what do you, when you are on like Facebook and see some post out there that says, just tell me what you think about this. When you see a post that says, what city are you in and how much are you charging? Like, have you seen those posts? Like, does that bother you? Like, it bothers me.
All the time. All the time.
So what do you wish that everyone out there knew, like, that you've learned in your experience, like, you know, when you're like talking to someone who's going to make a post like that and who's like worried about that?
To me, it's really funny because I feel like I have a different opinion than most on this subject, because I'll see a lot of posts and they say, what city are you in and what do you charge? And they'll say, well, you're in a big city, so you can charge more. I'm in a small town, where I feel like the complete opposite, because if I'm in Salt Lake, you can throw a rock and hit a salon. Like the street that I'm on in Riverton, that my salon's on, there's like 6 other salons within 2 blocks. And so I feel like my prices should be more competitive with the other salons, where if I live in a small town, I can charge whatever I want, because that person that's making an appointment would have to drive clear somewhere else to another city. So you have to factor in their time. If they're going to drive an hour away to get their nails done, they might as well just pay $10 more and get their nails done by you. So I don't feel like it really matters what city you're in. It's about the service that you're offering. And another thing that on the whole posting is people will say, I'm not a 1-hour nail tech. If you want quality nails, it's going to take longer than an hour, which I totally disagree, because how we as nail techs make money is by being quick. So that's what I'm always telling my girls. You cannot take 2 hours to do a set of nails, because say that somebody who's sitting in the salon next to me takes 2 hours for a set of nails and they charge $50. I am taking 1 hour to do a set of nails. They're getting the same nails and I can do it in an hour and I'm charging $50. Well, guess what? I am making double of the person next to me. And really, you're paying somebody for their skills. And because I've been doing nails for 8 years or 18 years, I can do a set of nails in an hour. You can have flowers, you can have designs. So to me, everybody says, oh, well, you shouldn't go to somebody that only takes an hour. No, really, you should go to that person because they probably have a lot of skills tucked, in their back pocket that they can do it a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So when your girls are struggling with that, like what's something tangible that you could give them as advice to like, because they in reality can't get it done as fast as you can. So what are some of like the, I don't know, like ideas and things that you can give them to like work on their speed? Like without getting into too much technique, because I know this is not like a video on technique and stuff like that, and you have to like really show them.
Yeah.
But
so a lot of times I'll ask their permission to have me sit and watch them do nails. So I'll just kind of watch what they do. And a lot of times what I see with the girls at my salon are they're talking to their client and they stop what they're doing to look up and talk to their client. Where the client, you're touching them, you're holding their hand. They still feel like it's personal, whether you're looking them in the eye or not. So I always tell people, you have to learn to multitask. You have to learn to work while you're talking to your client and don't stop. You don't need to look up. You can glance. That's a huge one. Another big one is while I'm prepping my client's nails, I'm already asking them what they want, and they're showing me pictures. They're going through my colors while I'm working. And I'll see a lot of nail techs, they'll go through and they'll prep the nail, and then they'll stop what they're doing, sit back and say, okay, what do you want? And then they spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes deciding a color, where that's like, if you think you're going to charge $1 a minute, you just lost $15 to $20 because you stopped to talk to your client. And then I'll be talking about rebooking my clients, and I'll book them for a year in advance. That way, at the end of the appointment, I don't have to find them an available slot in 3 weeks. They have the whole year's worth, and then they can literally just get up and pay and walk out the door. So it's just little things like that that you don't even have to work at. You could just automatically make yourself like 30 minutes faster just by doing those things.
yeah, oh my gosh, I love how you said that, because really, if you sat down and watched them and started the timer and stopped it when they did those like squirrel moments like that and started it back again, they would probably find out that when they're actually doing nails, they're actually a lot faster than they think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
all those little distractions, I watch my girls do the same things. They're deciding on colors, they're stopping. It's kind of, yeah, like you said, like a polite thing. Like we think we have to look them in the eye and then like stop what we're doing so we can acknowledge their story or what they're talking about. But we get really good at like just multitasking. Like as soon as someone sits in my chair, I grab their hand and just start prepping them.
Exactly.
I just start into the conversation. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. So good. Let me check at my questions again. Okay. This one is really big deal for me because some of my girls are moms. Like, I feel like that's a big thing is like, and I've talked to you about this before because I struggle with this myself, is like committing to my work hours and stuff like that. And you've been like giving me advice on like daycare and babysitters and stuff like that. So I want to know like the real deal of like where you have help in your life so that you can do the awesome, amazing things that you do. Because the secret, I feel like, is that we all have help and people in our corner, like whether it's a supportive spouse, whether we have an accountant to help us with our taxes, or like daycare, someone really helping us with kids. Like what things are in your life that like if they weren't there, like you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So family is huge to me. And my husband is like my number one supporter. He understands that to have the career I have and have the things we have, he has to help with the kids. So when I first had kids, I would stay home during the day, and then I would go into work at 5:30. We would meet at the salon. He would take the kids, and I would work. So I always worked like 5:30 to 10:30, plus Saturday. So we worked opposite schedules, and I mean, it's a compromise because you don't get to see your husband as much, but I got to be with my kids, plus I got to have a clientele. And then as my kids have gotten older and I was able to put them in preschool or some sort of daycare, then I started picking up different days during the week and still working evenings. And now luckily I have been cutting my schedule back. So I'm trying to only work 2 nights a week because I can work the days, and then I don't work Saturdays. Just to kind of have like time with my husband. But all of our kids are getting into sports now. They're all getting older, and 2 of them play football and 1 plays fall baseball. And my husband's the coach. So luckily I have family. So my mom and my mother-in-law are awesome people who will pick my kids up from school, take them to sports, feed them dinner. So if it wasn't for my family, I couldn't have the things that I have. And I feel really bad for people who live out of state from their family, because I feel like it's a huge support of people that you could trust. But I'm a huge supporter of daycares. I know a lot of people don't want to send their kids to daycare, but I feel like for me as a mom, I'm a better mom because I have the career I have, because I get out, I get to talk with people, do the things that I love. Then on my days off, I'm a better mom for my kids, and I want to spend more time with them instead of being sick of them all the time.
Seriously. So would you say when people say like, oh, they can't afford daycare, like my thing I say back to that is usually like, if you were working, you probably could. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So the thing with daycare is, if I only had a job that paid $10 an hour, $12 an hour, it probably wouldn't be worth it for me to pay $35 a day for daycare. That's why I feel it's really important to know your worth and charge. So I know that I have to pay rent to work at the salon. I have to buy products. I have to pay taxes. I have to pay daycare. So I have to charge enough to cover all those, plus make it worth my while to work. So I think that you just make work what you need. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, if you really want to work, you'll figure out a way.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, there's like a certain just like belief in your work and what you're doing, that like when you commit to it, that you're going to figure out how everything fits together. And when I find that my girls in my salon are like having problems in any area, like it's like probably something that they're not committing to 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for sure, because I get a lot of girls that feel like they can no longer work at the salon because, and I honestly think it's the support system. Either their husbands or their family aren't committed to their career, or they don't feel it's important. But I also feel like they don't feel like it's important. Like, they would rather be home with their kids, and to them it's not as big of a deal. But for me, it's super important that I have my own self-worth. Like, I feel like I need to work just to boost my confidence, make me feel better. And I'm lucky because I have a husband that is also willing to take the kids. So I feel like as moms, we have that mom guilt where we feel like it's our job to like make dentist appointments, take them to sports, do all the things for our kids, and we don't dare to ask for help. And I get mom guilt all the time. But then when I give up salon time, it's hard for me. Like, it makes me get kind of depressed.
No, seriously. Seriously. That's funny. There's just so much with mom guilt.
Oh yeah.
We do it to ourselves, and we kind of make ourselves the victim and the martyrs. Like, we kind of make ourselves that victim, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't because I have my kids, and woe is me, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we get to use that as a convenient excuse sometimes, which is more subconsciously, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
But yeah. Okay. So I'd love to talk about things you've learned with owning a salon. That's a big deal. How did you dare to do that? To open a shop? Is that something you've always wanted to do?
It is something I always wanted to do. So when I decided to do hair, my mom was a huge supporter in me because she wanted to do hair and she never did it. So for her, she like supported me the whole way because it's kind of like living, her dream to help me. And when I started doing apprenticeships, what was happening is these girls that I would teach would want to continue to work with me. And I rented a room at a studio salon. And at first I had a single room with just me in it. And then I expanded to a bigger room so I could put more tables in it. And then all of a sudden I had 3 tables and they were all full, yet I had so-and-so that wanted to come work for me as well. And it was just the natural progression of opening a salon. And studio salons, I loved it. I was there for 5 years, but it's a lot of money. I was paying $1,300 a month for my 3-person room. And so to step into a lease at a building wasn't that huge of a jump for me. Obviously, buying all the equipment and all the stations was a huge cost. And when I came to re-sign my lease, my mom said to me, I want to own a salon with you. Like, let's open a salon. So she's my silent partner. She does all my taxes, but then I'm the face of the business. I run it. It's my salon. So I was very fortunate to have my mom help me. So she kind of got to live her dream along with me. But yeah, it was just like a natural, it was scary. But I was paying a lot at the studio salon. So it just kind of worked its way out.
Yeah. I love it. It's been a huge learning process for me too. It's like, it's pretty crazy. What would you say?
There's things in owning a salon.
Go ahead. What was that?
There's things in owning a salon that you just would never think of until all of a sudden you're running into those problems thinking, oh, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. And tell me if you agree with this. Every like couple of months or couple of weeks, you just want to burn it all down to the ground. It's like, okay, I quit. Then you're like, oh wait, I love this.
I always joke around and it's like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So what have you learned from like running a staff kind of point of view? Like from having the salon, probably like a million lessons there, but like what has really like stood out for you that you didn't know before you owned a salon?
So one of my biggest challenges in running a salon is I have 2 businesses. So business number 1 is Tricia Baldwin, nail tech hairstylist. So I'm in the salon 40 hours a week, doing hair, doing nails. That's one business. And I work in my salon. So then on top of that, I have business number 2, owning Pinks, paying the bills, running just every little in and out, like hiring, all that stuff. And keeping those 2 separate has been my biggest challenge because in the years past, I always like to make friends with my coworkers because I have to work alongside of them every day. I know more about them and I see them more than I do my own family. And so that's the biggest challenge because when it comes to making sure they're paying their rent on time or when they mess up with a customer and there's customer service issues, I'm the one that has to like switch hats. And I always have to tell them like, okay, I'm your friend. I understand this is really difficult for you, but as a business owner, I need you to pay your rent or I need you to do this. And that's one of my biggest challenges is trying to keep that separate, but trying to like be their friend, but also their boss. That's a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah, that's huge. And I don't know if it's kind of like a whole being okay with not being their friend because like we have these tender hearts and we just want to be their friend. And we understand whatever they're going through or whatever, but it's like there's the business side. That's like separating it. That's a big thing for me right now too. I feel like that's coming up. It's like I've kind of mushed everything together too much and like separating the 2 like has been showing up as very important right now. We'll just say that. Yeah.
So I do feel that doing hair and doing nails has made it easier for me to bring people in because I understand each side of the business. So that's helpful. But yeah, I don't like being the bad guy. And so to me, I just like to keep everything, and I want to be friends with everybody. And it's hard.
It's true.
But being here in the salon, I think when I listen to other like nail techs or stylists come in and talk about their old salons, I feel like being an active part of the salon is very important as well, because I'm here day in and day out. If the vacuum breaks, I'm ordering a new vacuum. If the AC is going out, I'm calling the landlord to get the AC fixed. Where some owners, they strictly own the salon and they don't work in the salon, and it's a more impersonal, and it's harder to get on top of things. So I pride myself in that when things go down, I'm on top of it to get it fixed. And so that's a good part of actually working in the salon.
Yeah, that's something I love about you, because you're there a lot, and I feel like that being that involved helps your team trust you. It helps, the clients, not even just your clients, but like the clientele of the salon, like know who's running it, and like it's kind of like, I mean, and you're your brand, and you're wearing your pink hair, and you are Tricia, and it's like it's a personification of the business, when you're there. I think that's a very big, important part of it.
Yeah.
Love it. So if you had like some like advice that you wish someone would ask you about the nail industry, it can be about anything that we've talked about. Like, what do you wish someone asked you so that you could just like spread some extra knowledge out there to like help the community of nail technicians, learning how to charge their worth, whether it's about owning a salon, or it can be about all of these things. What do you wish someone asked you that you could like help spread some knowledge from your perspective?
So we can touch back on like the pricing of different services. I feel like that's super important, because I think that when a lot of girls go into doing nails, they're put down by their family almost, like that's not a real job and you're never going to make it as a nail tech. But if you price yourself correctly, if you can work on your timing and your speed, you can make really good money. So for instance, say you charge $50 for a fill, and you could get your timing down to an hour, and you work 40 hours a week just like everybody else, you would be making $2,000 a week, which is $100,000 a year. And that's what I always try to tell parents who are nervous for their child. It's like, if your child puts in the work, she can make really good money. On top of that, you could have retail sales. So there's never like a cap of I can only make this much money. Even if I just wanted to work part-time, say I worked 20 hours a week because I want to be home with my family and try to like juggle all that, and you charge the $50 an hour, you're making $50,000 a year, which is good money to work 20 hours a week. And that's where a lot of nail techs think that they're not worth $50 and they'll charge $25, but that nail tech has to work twice as hard as me, because they're only going to start out, but still 50,000. Like if you worked 20 hours a week, 40 hours, or 40 hours a week at $25, that's still $50,000 a year. So you're still making really good money. And that's why I always tell people, like, make sure you price correctly. Even if you're taking 2 hours for a set of nails, you can't charge $25 for that set of nails, because you're only making half of that per hour, which again is more than minimum wage. That's super, I don't know, I just wish that everybody would think about that when they look at a nail tech or a hairdresser, and they just put them down like, oh, they don't make any money. They just do hair and nails.
Just
like,
nails.
Oh, okay. It's just nails, no big deal. I just have to be a counselor. I have to, do my own taxes, my own budgeting, like pay my own bill. Like, no big deal. I just do nails.
I know, I hate it. It's awful. I was like, that's one of my things with opening a salon that I like just wanted to put it out there in the industry, is like nail techs are always the table in the back, like this tiny little space, in salons, like in the olden days, at least, like when I was in like all the different salons that I'd been in. So I was like, nope, my nail techs are going to have huge tables. We're going to be like the main like game here in this salon. We're going to be at the forefront of this space, and we're going to be taken seriously, because especially with the way nail art has gone in the industry, it continues to change and improve. We got to go with it, and we got to understand that we're worth that $50 an hour. I feel like asking that at the end of the appointment, saying like that will be $50 or $60 or whatever, is like a huge like glass ceiling to break for a ton of nail techs. And I've seen you do pricing kind of differently. Can you talk about how your pricing has kind of changed over the years and what you do now? And you can get as specific as you want.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of nail techs charge per service. So a fill is 25, a full set is whatever it is, it's per service. But I really broke down my pricing to per minute. So when I charge for whether I'm doing a fill, a full set, a gel polish, I'm making about the same amount of money no matter what I'm doing. Even because I do hair as well, so I make sure that my hair, whether I'm doing hair or nails, I'm making the same. So I can kind of guarantee if I'm working a 10-hour day and I'm charging $50 per hour, I'm going to make a $500. I'm going to have a $500 day, and it just helps me project how much money I'm going to make. Where if I just had a set amount, I can't control that as much. So if I charge $50 for a fill and somebody wanted extra art, so it's wedding season right now, and everybody wants 3D flowers. Well, 3D flowers take extra time, so 15 minutes. So for anything over the hour, I charge $1 per minute. That way, if I book you an hour-long appointment or an hour and 15 appointment, I'm making the same amount of money. So to me, it's super important to look at how much do you want to make per hour. How long does the service take you, and that's how you choose. That's how you choose how much you're going to charge for that service.
So as people work up to that, what is your best advice? Like, do they start at like 50 cents a minute? Like, if they don't feel like they can do that right out the gate, like for newbies or something, like what is your advice to like working up to that?
So I'm going through this with a couple of my girls, because look at it if for the brand of Birkenstocks. Okay, let's just talk about shoes. So Birkenstocks has these shoes that are like Birken Crocs, right? They're like a plasticky, waterproof Birkenstock. Well, Target sells the exact same shoes for $10, where the Birkenstocks are $80. And people will buy, I'm a sucker, I bought the Birkenstocks because it's Birkenstocks. And I really feel like when you're going to price yourself, if you are constantly charging a small amount, it messes with people's head, and they think, well, I must not be getting as much. It must not be like these Target ones are probably not as good as the actual Birkenstock ones. And so I always tell people it's important to charge enough that people think like, oh, well, I got to take care of these nails because they were $40 or they were $50. And on the other hand, I feel like if you're going to charge a large amount for a set of nails, those people need to be able to go, a good amount of time without having breaks or lifting, or you need to make sure you're giving them all the art they want. So I always tell people it's important to find that happy medium. So if you're a newbie, don't come in charging $20 for a set of nails, because you're just going to get randoms that come in for that deal and they're not going to come back. You need to start your pricing higher. So if I'm charging as an 18-year nail tech, let's just say $50, then I expect that my newbie is charging $40. So somebody feels like, well, I got a deal because they're newer, but it's not such a deal that they think that they got less than.
Yeah, that's right on. I love that. You're a wealth of knowledge.
No, I just have been doing it for a long time, and I hate to see people struggle. And I think what a lot of the industry, like the customers don't understand, is it costs a lot of money to be a nail tech. And I think it costs more money to be a nail tech than it does a hairdresser, because hairdressers, like, they can charge easily what they've spent on the hair color and still make money. Where nail techs, the industry is changing every day. Every day I get on Facebook and see there's milk bath nails. Well, now I got to go buy all these little dried flowers and all these little things to make that set of nails. Or chrome was huge. And a little tiny thing of chrome used to be $45 when it first came out. Now it's a lot less expensive. It's gotten popular. People are making it cheaper. But for me to stay up on the trends, I'm spending hundreds of dollars a month just to keep up like the new supplies of that month. And then on top of that, I have to learn how to use that product. So there's YouTube videos, but also I need to take classes. And that's where nail techs need to understand, and the customers need to understand, it's a lot of money for me to be able to offer you all these different things. And that's why I charge what I charge. And that's why everybody else needs to charge a higher amount to make sure that they can afford to pay their daycare, to pay their bills, and have a little spending money, because that's why we work, right?
Right. That's so true. I love it. I want to wrap up because I know you don't have a ton of time, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah, no problem.
And I want to make sure if anybody wants to reach out to you or find you or follow you in your salon, that they get that chance. What are your Instagram, like where do people go to follow you?
So if they want to follow the salon, it's at Pink's Salon. You just have to remember there's 2 S's because it's Pink's Salon. And then if they want to follow my nail hair page for my personal, it's at Pink Trish Nails. And then if they just want to see what I do on a daily basis, it's just at Tricia Baldwin. CIA, TRICIA. So easy.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I am hoping to get better at the interviewing, and I would love to have you back on if like that gets to be an opportunity.
Anytime.
I love it. Thank you so much.